Let me see, entertainer, the motivator, the educator, Lucky Murray. Man, I'm here. I am so honored, man. This brother right here is smoking. I don't know what he got going on this year, but this year, 2020, the quarantine year, he has a mission to really put a stamp, not only Christian hip hop, but music itself. I got my man J.Conic in the building, baby. Jay, what's going on with you, fam?
Yeah, it's your Biggie boy. What's good, man? Man, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me, bro.
Oh man, I'm thankful for your internet connection, because that could be crazy sometimes when you doing artists and they go out, you be like, what I do? I know you got the highest bandwidth, but you got to kind of make believe some stuff and kind of ad lib. But two, man, your name has been coming up a lot, from Instagram, from Twitter, just different people saying different things. But I want the people who's watching this right now to say, who is J.Conic? Who is he? You know, why do I need to care? So tell the people a little bit about who J.Conic is.
Well, man, J.Conic is just a kid from the Bronx, man. He's a kid who grew up having to overcome the obstacles, always facing the odds and always overcoming the odds, and everything through Christ. And I got to give God the glory for where I'm at today. And I'm looking forward to getting into my testimony. But God is good. That's all I can say. God is good, man. God is good.
It's good. Being from the Bronx, the Boogie Down Bronx is probably the debated one of the most talked about as far as the birth of hip hop. So talk a little bit about being in the Bronx. You know, I don't know how old you are, but I know the East Coast in the late 90s was all there. You know what I'm saying? You had Notorious B.I.G. that maybe a little bit before, maybe a little after your time. You know, then, you know, you had the Wu-Tang Clan and they kind of fell off in the mid-2000s. You got Jay-Z that's out there. So talk a little bit about hip-hop and how it affected you growing up.
Well, for me, I'm 21 years old. Hip-hop for me, honestly, I never really listened to hip-hop. The only artist I really remember listening to or like knowing about was like 50 Cent. Because my older sister loved 50 Cent. Fat Joe, Lean Back. Fat Joe. I know Nas, Jay-Z. But like, I wasn't really into hip-hop like that. Like, I think me growing up in a Christian household, like I was never really like fully exposed to like hip-hop from the Bronx like that. But like, you know, when you listen to the radio, like outside, like you probably would like hear those people on the radio and stuff like that. So for me, like my hip hop inspirations were like Drake. Like Drake, I love Drake. Cause like I'm like a romantic kind of dude, like that's me. So I kind of love Drake. And I feel like a lot of these hip hop artists are like have to be like tough and they gotta like have that persona of a tough guy. But like I'm a lover, you know, I'm a lover, not a fighter. So like Drake kind of like embodies that. And so like I kind of like really clinged on to Drake when I grew up. So
gotcha. You know, and a lot of people get mad at Christian artists who inspiration is not Christian artists, and it kind of confuses me sometimes, because I'm like, look, if you're growing up, there's not a whole lot of Christian hip hop artists that you are aware of unless you grew up in that environment. You know, the inspiration is usually the secular artists, but you said you came from a Christian background. Talk to us a little bit about your Christian background and how that led you to gain your own faith.
All right, so born and raised in a Christian household. My mom's dad was a pastor. I never met him, but like I have that in my bloodline, like family of pastors and ministers and stuff like that. And so we'd be in church every day, morning to night. That's how it is, especially when you're an old school Pentecostal. Like you're in there like every single day, nonstop. And I don't know, like I just always been accustomed to it, and I always just, I don't know, like for me, like it was just I know like some people kind of like hate like being in that environment of like church every single day, but I kind of loved it. And when I was a little kid, I would always be dressed up in suits and stuff like that, and I would just sit right on the altar with the pastor. My godfather was a pastor, and I would just sit right on the altar, and I just enjoyed it. Like I enjoyed it. And but even though like as a kid growing up, like you still don't really have that full, if you don't have that full relationship with God implanted, like how can I say it? Like that sounds like we say like, oh, I grew up in church and stuff like that, but like you haven't experienced God personally. And I think even though I was like growing up in church, I wasn't personally invested in God completely. I had a lot of distractions from school, middle school, high school. So it took me a while to really, really, really develop that relationship with God. And once I did, never going back. So how can I talk about it? So pretty much, how can I say, like, so throughout, I know how I always said that I had to like overcome the odds. So throughout elementary school, I was bullied by actually one of my professors, one of my teachers. I don't really want to get into it, but like it was like a verbal abuse kind of thing. And like I was kind of bullied because of that. Then when I went to middle school, I was bullied because of the way I talked. I wore glasses. I was fat. I was chubby. I was bullied there. Then when I went to high school, I'm bullied as well. And there was a time where, damn. All right, you know what? I'm going off track. Hold on. Okay, so in high school, I started making Christian music in high school, and that's why I started like writing on my own in high school. And I wrote this song called "Jesus Is the Best" by and it was like a spinoff of what Drake did with "Best I Ever Had." And so I put it on SoundCloud, and people started making fun of me. I became a laughing stock. That was one of the songs that I had the most plays on, simply because people were making fun of me. People made fun of me for the way I spoke, me being fat, having big lips. Like all my life, I had to deal with being bullied, and every single time I always came back stronger than before. And I guess like God like implanted some type of like ambition in me or determination. I don't know what it was, but like I've always dealt with identity issues, trying to fit in. Even with the music, there was a time where like I decided to give up Christian music and really just start doing secular stuff and just fitting in. Because why am I going to continue to be different if I'm always gonna be if I'm always gonna be made fun of because of it? And so like I went to college, and that's where like I just did whatever I wanted to do. I didn't care about what anybody thought. I just did what I wanted to do, and what I wanted to do was fit in. So I had freedom, partying, girls, drinking, all that good stuff. You know, I roomed with a drug dealer, and I roomed with a person who had multiple women coming in and out. So like I was like this kid from high school who wasn't so popular. Now in college, and I had all the popularity because I knew everybody, you know. And so there was one day that I was like praying. I felt like really empty, and like I kind of like stopped going to church as well. And I was like, you know what? Like I just felt empty, and I began to pray to God. I'm like, oh God, like this can't be what my purpose is. And so I told God, this can't be what my purpose is. And I was reading the Bible, and I was reading the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. And when Jesus told Lot to leave and not look back, and I feel like that's what he was telling me. He was telling me to leave and not look back. And I felt like God has something different for me. And so as I was praying, I was in a community room as I was praying, and I kept looking back to see people were looking at me. And that was just me being insecure and scared of my faith pretty much. And God was like, why do you keep looking back? Keep your eyes on me. Like I have a purpose with you, but I need you to keep your eyes on me. And ever since then, I gave it all to God, you know, and I called my mom up. I'm like, yo, Mom, I don't want to be here anymore. And we left, and I never went back. And ever since then, I've just been pursuing music and pursuing God and just staying in the faith. And I know that's kind of like all over the place, but like there's a lot to talk about. So,
and you know, the funny thing is, I can hear that in your music, the underdog, and I think a lot of people can relate to it because it's like, you know, and I was picked on when I was in elementary school too, and it's not the fun thing to do or to have or to say, you know, because you got to come to school, the anxiety level, you know, kids go through so much, and then you just want to relieve because like look, why are you picking on me? And when you get older, you realize a lot of those kids are insecure themselves, and so they pick on the person that they feel are weaker than them to make themselves feel strong. But and that's powerful because you had almost like a prodigal son journey where you was like, yo, I was doing music for the Lord, and you could have really took that that criticism that you got for that song and ran with it. But you being a person like, oh man, like they was listening. And a lot of people can't get nobody to listen. And you was like, you went to college and came back and found the Lord, man. And you start doing Christian music. That's awesome. So when you found the Lord and when you start back doing Christian music, was the first thing that you wanted to do was Christian hip hop again, or do Christian music, or kind of sing rap? Like talk to us about what was your decision making to get into Christian hip hop.
Okay, so I originally got into music when I was 5 years old. My sister started making music, and I was like always intrigued by it. So she was the person who would play the piano. She could sing, she could rap. I couldn't sing. My mom could sing, I can't sing, so that wasn't for me. But I thank God that God invented auto-tune. So so when I was 5 years old, that's when I really got into music. And then like since I was growing up in church, like I had opportunities to perform in different churches. And when I was 8 years old, I won a talent show. And then I kind of like just threw that stuff away when I got to high school. Then coming back, like I was like, whatever God wanted to do. And for me, like I just wanted to make music about God. Like that's what came to mind. Like whether it was R&B related, whether it was hip hop related, I just wanted music to glorify God. And when I first came back, I came back with the name of Manuel. You know, like at that time, like I didn't really have like a full vision of what I wanted to do. So I just came up with the name Manuel because that's my middle name. My middle name is Manuel, so I just used that. And at that time, I was just making music. I had Audacity, and I had a USB mic, and that's how I really started to like really get back and take this serious. And my first project that I released was Break Free as Manuel. It was Break Free, and no, actually it was J.Conic. I released it as J.Conic Break Free, but it's not available now. But at that time, like I just didn't know. I didn't have any musical knowledge. All I knew was that I just wanted to make music that glorified God, and I knew like God gave me a song, and I can't let the words that people said in the past stop me from speaking what the word that God gave me. So that's the best way I can answer that question. I don't.
Gotcha. And you know it's funny because since I'm 10 years older than you, you had a USB mic, you had Audacity. 10 years earlier, it's like me and my boys were recording off of Adobe Premiere, Audition, and we had like a standalone mixer. It was crazy how technology has allowed people to really make music dirt cheap. And you know, my question is, I heard some of your music before the Nova track that you released. It seemed like you was having a growing pain throughout those years. So talk a little bit about the years just growing, just becoming J.Conic before you release Nova.
Yeah, man, a lot of trial and error. My mindset when I first started making music was that like I think I also had a lot of trust issues, and I didn't want to work with a lot of people. That was always me. Like I refused to work with a lot of people. It was just a lot of. I think also for me, I had pride, trust issues, and I didn't want to work with people. And so like I felt that I can do everything on my own. Whether it was mixing, mastering, whatever it was, production, like I feel like I could do everything on my own. And like my first project was terrible mixing wise. You know, I just, you know, I didn't really have that knowledge that I have now about music, about mixing is essential, investing into yourself, working with that spirit of excellence, you know. And it didn't start until actually last year where like God was like, listen, if you're gonna do something for me, you have to work with that spirit of excellence. And so the previous years working with Audacity and working with different things, my first video as J.Conic was like on an iPhone. And it was just me being lazy and not like really wanting to invest into myself, putting in that work. And eventually, like I just decided, you know what, like I'm gonna invest. If I'm gonna do this, I have to give my all to God. So just overcoming that laziness mentality and that pride was the reason like what formed me into J.Conic, you know. So I guess that kind of helps.
Yeah. It seemed like okay. Pre 2020, it was you still find yourself. You kind of tell with your videos, kind of tell with your words, kind of tell with your lyrics, but it seemed like something clicked when Nova, the track that you released this year, that's been doing crazy online, that's been is a part of the Christian Hip Hop Now playlist. Talk a little bit about that record because I remember listening to the record. Somebody actually sent you to me. I forget who it was. Was it Justin Binnicker, I believe?
That's yes, my guy.
Yeah,
That's
another dope artist, another dope artist. And he was like, "Yo, can my boy come along?" And I said, "Okay, bet." I didn't know you from a can of paint. I didn't know your music at all. And the first time I heard the record was when I played it on Review Fridays on 44 Radio. And when I heard it, I was like, "Oh, this is a problem." Talk about that record because it seemed like something, I don't know, an awakening happened. Talk a little bit about that record and what pushed you to that next level.
You know how people say, there's a storm before the blessing.
Yes.
And I experienced that last year. Last year, I battled depression. I was just battling so many things last year. And there was a point that I really wanted to just give up making music, like just stop making music. And I don't know, God just kept like a fight in me to just keep doing or just waiting on God. And I'm gonna tell you the story of like what inspired me to write Nova. So I got invited to this concert on November 23rd. I'll never forget it. I got invited to this concert. One of my boys was launching his first single. And I get there and all I have on my mind is just, ministering to the people, performing my songs or whatever. That's all I had in mind. I had no idea that like I was gonna get prophesied over. And so, I get on stage and I feel the backing of the spirit. Like, it's weird, man. Like, I go on stage and me in person, I'm a shy person. But when you go on stage, it's like, I just feel home there. Like, I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah,
and so I'm on stage, I'm having a good time, like I'm just whatever. And then, it comes to the prophet comes up and it's his part to take part. And he calls me out. And, even though I was battling what I was battling, like I still wanted to give my best for God, So he's talking to me and he's like, listen, he's talking to me in Spanish. And the funny thing was that I don't speak Spanish. So I was able to understand what God was telling me. He said, I'm gonna try to translate as much as I can. He said, I want to talk to this child. God says this: many people have closed doors in your face or have made fun of you. I'm paraphrasing, because they don't believe in your talents. They don't believe in the gift that God has given you. But regardless of that, you always wanted to worship me, and you always had a heart of worship for me. And then he said, for every door that was closed in your face, I'm gonna open up 27 more. And he just the words that God was giving the prophet to speak to me was just very encouraging, and it gave me like a new strength, a new mindset, just a new everything. Like it just renewed me. And so like writing Nova, I just thought about that. Like I thought about renewing. And the funny thing was that Nova means new beginnings in Latin. So that's why I titled it Nova. And so just new year, new me is just symbolizes a new mindset. Forget about the past. It's a new year, new me. It's a new mindset. It's God renewing me. And the song, I'm talking about what I was dealing with. I was dealing with me being addicted to talking to girls and all this heartbreak and stuff like that. Being dealing with depression, dealing with fear, dealing with so many things, and just God washing it all away. And it's a new year, new me. And so that's pretty much how I kind of like wrote Nova, through that prophecy and through that inspiration and through that new strength that God has given me.
Wow, it shows, because because for me, when I get introduced to an artist, I go and do some research and I go back and I listen to their music and I'm like, okay, something clicked. And it seemed like the record is just, it seemed like a breath of fresh air, it seemed renewed. It seemed like, man, this is like one of those records that you wake up and be like, bump what happened yesterday, bump what happened 2 years ago, today, moving forward, this is who I am and this is who I'm striving to be. So that is amazing. So talk a little bit about the response that you got on Review Friday was crazy, but talk a little bit about the response you got from people just hearing the record, from people reaching out to you. Talk a little bit about that and, let the people know exactly what's been going on with the record.
man, like as God promised, I'm gonna open up 27 doors. Like he opened up doors, man. Like you're one of the doors that he opened. Like I had people hit me up, yo, I love Nova. Like people were just sharing Nova. And it made it on Track Stars. I did a press release for Track Stars. It was everywhere, like everywhere. And in 1 week it hit 1K, and that's the first time I hit 1K in 1 week on one of my songs. And it just blew up. It just blew up. And I did a Nova season challenge, and people participated in the challenge, and it just blew up out of nowhere.
It's God. I think that it's God, because you can tell when something is organically pushed, and then something when the machine is trying to push. You can tell that somebody is God moving through it, and I think that was the reason why it moved, man. It was that prophet who prophesied in your life and spoke on you. God was trying to reach you, and I think that song definitely is telling of who J.Conic is and what 2020 is going to bring, regardless of the pandemic. So I just want to talk a little bit about 2020. Are we going to get a video for Nova? Are we going to get an album, an EP, mixtape? Talk a little bit about the rest of the year, because you started off really, 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 really smoky. You know what I'm saying? So tell us a little bit about it.
So I do have a music video for Nova planned. It's just that, going back to like working with excellence, like I could do it myself, but like I'd rather have somebody who's a videographer to help me out. Like I already have the concept in my mind. There's like everything's written out for the Nova video. I just gotta get it, brought to life. But I'm also working on a Nova remix with Jordan Ramble. Jordan Ramble's gonna be featured on the Nova remix. It's gonna be something different. I don't want to talk too much about it, but it's gonna be something different. Different production, just different elements. So it's called the Nova Platinum Edition. Just stay tuned for that. I am dropping an EP called Nonstop. This EP, I wrote the EP last year, and I figured that we're all in quarantine, and I want to give you guys a project. So I'll give you guys Nonstop. Pretty much it talks about like me overcoming obstacles, and so that's what Nonstop is pretty much about. It drops June 5th, so stay tuned for that. And I'm also, I might have another EP dropping later on this year. I'm working on a collab EP with Danny Dripstar. He's also featured on Glow For It. If you have not heard Glow For It, you'll hear it on Review Fridays. But yeah, so I have a collab EP dropping with Danny Dripstar in the works. A lot of stuff, man. It's crazy. Like I sit back and I think, like, how busy can I be? Like I still live in the same apartment. I live in the Bronx, and like a lot of stuff is happening. But that's all God, man. And so a lot of stuff in the works. A lot of stuff.
And this Friday we're actually reviewing the record Glow featuring Miles Minnick. Miles has actually he's probably been another one that's been kind of skyrocketing in the Christian hip hop lane as of lately. I seen him last year at the A3C event, and I didn't know who he was. He had a record called It's Bad, and I seen him perform. He saw me on a performance. I know the record. I just seen his energy in his performance. And when I talked with him, chopped up for a little bit, maybe a few minutes, he was so humble. He may not even remember who I was or whatever, but he was so humble. I was like, man, this dude gonna go somewhere. And I was excited when you sent me the record, and he's featured on it. So talk a little bit about that link up, man, because a lot of people in Christian hip hop don't want to link up with each other. And for you to link up with Miles, man, talk a little bit about that.
So what's crazy? It's a funny thing. That was at a time where I was still overcoming, like, working with people. And so there's this producer, the guy who produced Glow For It, his name is Saint. And so me and Saint connected when I first started making music, and we just always stayed connected, and it's now like we're really starting to work together. His production is getting up there, my lyricism and artistry is getting up there, so we're like working on a lot of stuff. Anyways, so he worked on a beat, and he sent it to me. And then he sent it to Danny Dripstar, and he was like, I want you guys to work on it. I want you guys to like make a big project out of this. And so Danny Dripstar was like, what if we get Miles on this track? And so at that time, like I think Miles was like working heavy with Rapzilla. He had just made Rapzilla Freshman, all this stuff, and so like he had a promotion about features, and so really good price actually. So Danny Dripstar took advantage of that, and then he made the hook go for it, and it's crazy because we never made any contact with Miles Minnick. We never spoke to him, but we were going through none of that, and he wrote that hook to go for it, and it kind of like matched with what me, Danny Dripstar, and Saint were going through at that time. You know, we were starting to find our sound. We were starting to get out there, putting ourselves out there, and that's like the anthem for us. And so we then we started to meet D Ricks. D Ricks also, he's an excellent artist as well. We met D Ricks and we added him to the track as well because we wanted this to be something big and we wanted this to be close to home and like an anthem for us. And so we all had that same mindset of go for it and chasing after what God wants for you. And that's pretty much it, man. If it wasn't for Danny, we would have never had that Miles Minnick feature.
And the fact that I think that, you know, he delivered when he's supposed to, because you got a lot of people in the game, man, they put up feature prices and they get too many features and they can't deliver on time. And it's like, and for it to fit what you guys were doing, which is excellent. I can't wait to listen to the record, to hear it, man, and see the growth of it, man. You got an EP dropping. So anything you want to tell the people, J.Conic, as far as like, you know, any plans? I mean, I'm excited about the glow up. You know what I'm saying? I'm excited because it's like, man, like it seems like you're really putting in the work. And what God does is that if we put in the work, man, we will see fruit. But we got to be patient and we got to, like you said, do excellent. It's like, yeah, you can shoot the video on your own, but why not get a videographer that can kind of go and put that steam behind it so that when people see it, it don't matter if 50 people see it or 100 people see it. That may be that one that can get you to the masses. You know what I'm saying? So just anything you want to tell the people of Christian hip hop now.
For Nova, man, Nova could be a short film. Like honestly, like Nova could really be a short film. Nova is very close to home, man. Like that song is like, that song is my theme song. That's like my life story, and I have a big vision for Nova, and I promise some of my followers a music video, and that they will also be a part of the music video, which I won't really explain about. I won't really talk about it. You guys will probably see it when the video drops. But I'm thinking a Nova music video part 1, part 2 with Jordan Rambo, like, and it's just gonna tell a massive story of who I really am. And yeah, like it's crazy, man. God has been really inspiring me, creative wise, and just so many things, man. So many things are happening.
Ooh, hey, and bro, you know, just keep me posted, and so that we can post it on Christian Hip Hop Now. And man, like I said, man, tell the people where they can find you at.
If you wanna, I have a website. I decided to go professional now. I have a website. It's www.jconicmusic.com. There you'll find my music videos, my music, a bio about myself. You could book me, you could get in contact with me, and you could purchase your merchandise. So do that. Instagram, I am J.Conic. Facebook, J.Conic Music, and Twitter, J.Conic Music, and YouTube, J.Conic Music. A lot of stuff are on the way, trust me. I may not be working, but I am like writing ideas down and brainstorming. But once this is over and I'm able to like get in contact with my videographer, it's gonna be nonstop.